What's up, y'all? This Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another car video. The most advanced players. And before I get into that, let me clarify something. Anybody who's gotten my on-demand video where I talk about hunks, players, steadies, and lanes know that I actually when I say player, I differentiate that from maybe the alpha showpiece or the hunk or the pretty boy or something like that. Because the reality is, if a dude is like real buff, real handsome, tall, I mean, even though I say the height thing is taken out of proportion, shoot, if you're 6 feet, shit, you're going to get attention. 6 feet and above. So if a man got all of that, he don't really, all you have to do is just chill out and pay attention. He don't really have game. He don't have where he really needs a strategy. All he need to do is pay attention. So it's a different vibe from a player. Wait, hold on a second. I just wanted to cough there. I didn't get out the car. It's a big difference. It really is. People should differentiate that, The thing is, I focus more on the hunk side, just overall when I talk about body game and stuff. Because the player side, I'm gonna tell you what, the reality is most men couldn't be players, especially the most advanced player. Now, a lot of guys try, but the most advanced player is what I would term a street psychologist. That's their game. That they can read a woman to the point, size her up to the point, better than a trained psychologist. Because here's the difference. Okay, when somebody goes to school and everything, yeah, they get some stuff out of books, and that's good and everything. But a street psychologist, they got one, a high social intelligence. Two, they grew up through life experience. They learn how to figure out people. Like I'll say for myself, people don't realize it until they rub me the wrong way and that I see through them, that I can read people extremely well. If they right in front of me, I don't care what they saying. And I've actually told men and women, I say, dude, yeah, you saying that, but this is the real deal. And they be like, damn, how you see it? Women especially, they be like, Rom, you look like you look right through me. I do. It's kept me out of trouble. Run up the way I did, if you couldn't read somebody around you and the attentions, that was pretty much your ass in more ways than one. Seriously, you had to be able to like size somebody up. And that's what these street psychologists can do. Because I was thinking about some cats I know who are real players. That guys say they are. Like these guys, they can get women. And honestly, they decent, but they ain't no alpha showpieces. They ain't going to win anything. If you look at them, you might be like, oh, they just average looking guys. But they tearing up the women. Right? So that's the thing. They tearing up the women. But the thing is, you talk to them and you see how they do, and they just looking at the woman and just being like, they sizing her up. They picking out stuff. They can spot little things on her that they can use to their advantage. Yeah, the woman might want an alpha showpiece. She might want that handsome guy, but somehow that guy, what that street psychologist type of player does, he can push her buttons. Because remember what I've said, women got you can get women if you can turn on their womb. That's what the hunks do. And I'm gonna use it. That's the popular term. That's what the alpha showpiece does. That's what that Chad and Tyrone does. It turns them on through their womb. But a woman is also turned on emotionally. A woman will also have. A woman also has rather. I was reading something on a sign over there. A woman also has like triggers, certain things, certain looks they might have, and it could be very subtle, And the thing is, you can explain it. I could explain them all in a video. I can do a book on it, and you're still not gonna get it. You got to get out there and experience it. You got to see it. You got to learn. One trick I would say for everybody to do every single time they encounter a woman, record it. And when I mean record it mentally. How does she look at you? What did she say? What was her voice tone? Record every little thing, every single time. If you do this continuously, And it'll take a few years. After a while, you can look at a woman and say, okay, she's doing this, she's wearing this, she got this body build, this is how she's going to behave towards me. And you're going to be extremely accurate. Extremely. I ain't going to say 100%. Nothing's 100%. Nothing. But you'll be extremely accurate to the point and say, oh, okay, look in her eyes and stuff. Shout out Warren B, the pimp god. He was doing an interview with Lawrence Adams, and he was saying, always look at a woman's eyes. But, that's the one thing about the pimp god. He can read women extremely well. Pimps can read women well. Like a pimp, and I mentioned this yesterday, a pimp can, they can look at a woman and tell which one is down to be turned down. That's how they do it. They don't be forcing anyone. They can look at stuff. And unfortunately, a lot of the street psychologist type of players, dudes on that level, all of them ain't necessarily good actors. And when I say good actors, they not good, not actually acting, but just good people. Like you got a lot of grifters who are psychologists. You got a lot of con artists who are psychologists. You got a lot of salesmen who are psychologists. And that's how they get over. That's how they get what they want. Because they'll look at somebody, like an example, and I gave an example, or, looking at like if I'm looking at a woman, I'm looking at her accessories. I'm looking at her accessories, and then it's like, oh, okay, she's wearing this particular accessory. I know what entrance to take with her. She's wearing, these type of earrings. She's wearing this religious symbol. Okay, boom. She's wearing her clothes a certain way. Boom. And then, they can also tell from how they talk, what they talk about, their voice tone, everything like that. Like I said, they actually better than a trained psychologist. And this is no disrespect to trained psychologists, but it's one thing to get something out of a book and then even practice a long time, where you can develop. Like you get a trained psychologist that's been in the business for 30 years, they very good. But somebody just coming out of school, they just going by the book. They just going by the book. Like I remember this time, I had mentioned it before, but some female called herself reading me and said, well, you look like you got this syndrome, but she was just totally all wrong. She was totally all wrong. And I was like, you better go back to school. It was like blatantly wrong, and I was like, okay, she ain't reading me well. But she was doing it off of like speculation, not a good read. But you get that street psychology. See, the thing with them is they didn't go to school to learn it. Now they could still go to school and add to it, see what the academics say. But usually the typical street psychologist grew up in a lower middle class, even a poor situation, where they had to deal with people more. Like if you talk about socially, the social atmosphere of poor, deprived places is vicious, it's dog-eat-dog, it's predatory. You gotta read it. So someone who grew up either in that or lower middle class, or even in a situation where they routinely deal with people on that level, where they have to read them just for mere survival, they grow into it, they learn it. It becomes a part of their skill set from the time they're kids and stuff. From the time that they're kids. Somebody hit a sudden red up here. Anyway, from the time that they're kids. So it's like, it's reinforced from the time they little. It's like, oh, okay, boom. Because I don't care what you do, it's the best experience. It's like a friend of mine who, he graduated law school, went to work at a top law firm, and basically the lawyers told him there, yeah, you learned all that stuff in school, so we'll teach you the real shit now. Because he had to learn from experience, and that they the top. Because when they dealing with a woman, I don't care what the woman look like, I don't care how fine she is, I don't care everything. Like the average dude who don't have those skills, they just short, unless they like an alpha showpiece, or male model type. But you get the street psychologist immediately he's looking for the openings. And he might pick out that small insecurity she got. He might notice that she got a little bit of extra makeup on somewhere. Like she got a little bit of extra makeup. So when they got extra makeup, they hiding something extra, because an actually beautiful woman only puts on just a little bit of makeup if they don't put on any at all. Right? You know, they looking at the hair, they looking at the walk and everything. They looking for little signs. You know, sometimes it could be just in their stride or something that they picking out something. But that's the thing. Like, these are true seducers if they tap into, if that's what they want to do. And they know what button to push. It's like, oh, push this button. Oh, okay, she insecure about this. Now, some guys have tried, you know, they might have seen something here and there, and they have tried, it don't work for them. See, part of the street psychologist, that type of player, what he knows is he knows how to present himself to get what he wants. See, he ain't gonna just come on and just try to push the button. He'll sit there cool. In fact, he might just sit back, lay back in a cut, and be very subtle about it. In fact, a street psychologist is not necessarily, that type of player isn't going for the quick hit. He's not going for the quick hit. In fact, he might not even, he might see her around. He might peep where she at particular moments and take his time. Like, here's something, and I've talked about this before, like when I was working in downtown DC for the government. And I would go home, I had to walk past the White House, which incidentally, if you want to get drugs in DC, unless they change something, you can get it from across the street from the White House. Anyway, so, you know, I'm walking through there, and I was peeping this finance woman who would always be at the bus stop. I mean, she was, oh man, she was fine as shit. She was about an 8, killer body, brick house body. And I would just walk past her. I wouldn't say anything. She might have caught me looking. You never know with women, but I ain't saying anything at first, because I said, okay, she fine. The read on her was, okay, she fine, she real pretty, she fine, killer body, sexy body, right? But she's at this one bus stop and stuff. But I peeped a couple bus stops up where that same bus came down the line and everything, you know, and I said, there's more people there, but this one, she's always insulated by herself. So I said, okay. Then walked past a few more times, finally walked past, and I just said hi and kept walking. Did that again. Now, when I finally decided to start talking to her, oh, she was chatty like she always knew me. But that's because psychologically, she already did. She seen me. She had a chance to get comfortable with me and my energy, right? And then talking with her, she was at that spot alone for one reason. The other spot where she could have got the bus at always had, like, people walking past there more on the regular and everything. And she even said, you know, she would come down to that bus stop because guys at the other one would be like catcalling and all this other dumb stuff with her. So she went there just for peace, which I peeped the first time I saw her there. But that's how a street psychologist would look at it. He's going to look at the whole situation. Okay, where's she at? Where's she at? What's she doing? What's she wearing? Why would she be here instead of there? Basically, he's a thinker at a higher level, you know? And honestly, a lot of those, the funny thing, interesting thing about those street psychologist types, they actually make money and stuff where you gotta think. Like, one I knew, he was an attorney. He's a top attorney. That dude was scary. I mean, if he came walking in the courtroom, the other people got scared. Because you better watch what you say around him. And then this other guy, he was I ain't mentioned him before. He's a salesman that's, you know, his sales skills was on some other level. And when I met him, he could just pick out something. He even picked out something about me when I first interacted. He said, yeah, when you first saw me, you thought I was a bum, didn't you? I was like, yeah. Because that's how he dressed and stuff. But he had read it and said, you know, I just went with it. I ain't insult him. But that's that game. Now, the thing is, somebody would say, well, how can I learn that? How can I learn that? You got any videos on that? Any books can tell you? Honestly, the only way to really learn that, if you don't have it with you naturally, you can learn it. But the only way, you would have to, quite frankly, be in a position where you could shadow that guy all day. And you just got to be around him and pay attention to little shit. In fact, I'm going to tell you what. I actually like that type of training. I did that a long time ago. I had this guy who, he paid me for, it was supposedly a coaching session. He paid me, and this is when I was selling books at this flea market. So I had him come. I had him, and I purposely, now this is a dude who looked like Billy D. Williams, but I've had him purposely dressed down for this occasion. I say, look, wear the bummiest clothes you got. it was hard for him because the dude had 2 sports cars. So it's like, okay, he tried his best. I told him park his sports car away from the entrance as far as possible so people didn't see him walk in with it. But hey, we can drive in with it. But and what I had him do, I didn't sit there and talk to him or lecture him, and I didn't walk around. I'm at my thing. In fact, he spent very little time at my stand. I would give him random stuff to do. I say, oh yeah, go. Hey, yeah, here's some money, man. I need some food. Go get some food. Oh yeah, this is a woman around the corner and stuff. Go check out her stuff. Stuff like that. But what had happened was he was getting out of there, and it was changing his mindset because all of a sudden he was peeping stuff. He was peeping stuff that normally, and he said, he was like, wait a minute, I wouldn't have seen something like this before. I was opening his mind up. Like, that's the only real way it's experiencing stuff. You got to be in that position. That's why I said if somebody really wanted to get red pill, you got to go to an area where you don't know anything, you don't have any money, you got to start from zero or something. If you really, that's extreme. A lot of people wouldn't want to do it, and you don't have to do it, right? You don't have to do that, but that's the only way. That's the only way you could really learn that. It ain't like you can just give money and be around somebody a little bit. Because even that gentleman I was training, I had a couple more sessions of doing the same thing. And even then, he still had a level of stuff. But if, unfortunately, rest his soul, he passed away. If, and one of the things, one help he had, he was constant communication with me, constant communication. So they would have to be on that level. It would have to be on that level, So, but they do exist. Now, is it a lot of them? No. And ironically, I don't see too many of them actually teaching game, the street psychologist type. Really don't. Now I could, but I don't. I focus people. I want to focus people more on the Hunks stuff because the thing about it, once you can really understand somebody psychologically, there's a dark side to that. There's a dark side coming. Who's hitting me up? Oh, okay. Somebody texted me. But that's the thing. It's not too many out there. And a lot of times they'll get into businesses like sales or something where they have to read people, like legal. A few of them might actually become actually, believe it or not, I haven't known any like that who got into psychology formal. Because usually they read it. And it's definitely a lot of women. That's a whole other case. That's why you got some women out there. They can milk a man because they reading a man. They know how to. They know his ego right away, and they like milk him. So anyway, though, that's all I got for today, y'all. I'll get back with y'all later. Peace and blessings.